Hey folks, thank you very much for tuning in. My name's YellowHat, and today we're returning to our gun guide series where we go over all the stats and quirks of each weapon in Pavlov VR. In today's episode, we're going to continue our in-depth look at the modern assault rifles of Pavlov. And with a lot of changes happening with update 29, we're going to look at one of the rifles that has changed significantly, and that rifle is the G3. The G3 originally was a semi-automatic DMR, and it now has been made fully automatic and is treated more like an assault rifle, and it now serves as a defending side counterpart to the AK-47. So with that all said, let's break down the G3's stats. The G3 deals base damage of 20, meaning that it's a 5-hit kill to an unarmored player. The armor damage of this weapon is 60, meaning that it takes 2 hits to strip a player's armor off. The armor penetration of this weapon is 100%, meaning that the G3 will retain its 5-hit kill value to armored players. The helmet damage is 100, meaning that the G3 will take a player's helmet off in 1 hit. In addition to this, the helmet penetration is 100%, meaning that the G3 will always be a one-shot kill to the head, even if the other player is wearing a helmet and has full health. The bullet velocity of the G3 is actually retained from when it was a DMR, and it shoots at 2,624 feet per second, which is the fastest of all the assault rifles. The magazine capacity of the G3 is only 20 rounds plus 1 in the chamber, which is smaller than most of the other assault rifles. The G3 is tied for the slowest fire rate of the assault rifle class with the AK-47, only shooting at 500 rounds per minute. With its 5-shot kill profile though, the G3 does struggle to keep up with the other assault rifles, as its time to kill sits at a whopping 480 milliseconds, which is unfortunately the worst of the assault rifle class. In short, you need to hit your headshots with this weapon or else it will be punishing. Very punishing. The G3 can only be found on the CT side or NATO side and cannot be purchased on T side / the RU side. Anyways, with the numbers out of the way, let's go over how to reload the G3. The reload process on the G3 is relatively simple. Just pull the magazine with your trigger grip, grab a fresh one from your pouch, and if you need to do a full reload, rack the charge handle on the left side of the gun. Like the other HK platform weapons, like the MP5, the UMP, you can also choose to initially lock back the charge handle, swap mags, and then HK slap the charge handle by simply slapping your hand onto the charging handle. Before we get to the economic overview, let's have a look at the G3's recoil pattern. The recoil of this weapon is manageable, and with there being only a 20-round mag, most of the recoil you'll be controlling is vertical. Full autoing this weapon at close to mid-range is decently easy, however, at far range it will be more beneficial to shoot in 4 to 5 round bursts. I will say too that at longer distances, the recoil can become a bit much, especially since you do not have the ability to attach a foregrip. From an economic standpoint, the G3 is a decent choice in most situations, as it costs $2,500 and has a kill reward of $300, putting it on the cheaper end of assault rifles. It is also not as reliant on attachments like the M4, which take away from your kill bonus, so generally speaking it is earning you more money than other assault rifles, which are commonly used with grips, sights, etc. Since the G3 costs $2,500, this means that the minimum amount of money you need to buy armor and a G3 is $3,150. In order to buy a helmet and a G3, you need $3,500, and I'd recommend buying this more so that you have a better time dealing with other AK-12, Galil, or M4 users. In terms of attachments, the G3 can take a sniper scope and the suppressor. I'd recommend saving the money on attachments and putting it towards util or other needs. The iron sights of the G3 are wide open and usable as is. Plus, players may not be used to using the sniper scope with any gun, especially since the G3 is fully automatic. A benefit of the G3, speaking of the iron sights, is that the sights are very easy to use. They are wide open and they provide a very clear sight picture, which is great for being able to line up headshots. The best way to use them is to line up the top of the front post with the top of the rear post, as there will be more or less to ensure that your shots are level and not low. Comparing the sights to the AK-47, it feels much easier to put the sights on the enemy's head with the G3. The only downside is that they do not have night sights like the AK-47, meaning that it can be harder to use the irons in a dimly lit place or against a darker background. With all this mentioned, I feel that you should buy the G3 when your team is more or less economically stable and you have at least $4,000. This is to account for any utility that you may need for the round. I find that it's more worth it to buy a G3 if you're playing a close angle or on a map with a few long range engagements. The weapon can be 4-spot, and this is a decent choice if you're truly strapped for cash. So what are my thoughts on the G3? My initial thoughts on this weapon were not that good, honestly. In all honesty, I was not a fan of the changes to the G3 when they were initially announced and presented in beta testing. Having used this weapon a fair bit to make this video, I will absolutely say that some of my assumptions of this weapon were wrong. I think the aspect that benefited the G3 the most was that it was moved to the defender side as opposed to the attacker side, since the NATO faction was originally going to be the attackers, and the G3 was just a quick solution to the attackers not having a one-hit headshot assault rifle. The G3 is a weapon that will punish you if you don't hit your headshots, and it will reward you greatly if you do hit your headshots. It's a weapon that best functions on closer range maps where you are more likely to hit a headshot against an opponent. It's also on the cheaper end of rifles and can be 4-spot if absolutely necessary. Overall, the G3 is best used in the hands of players that can consistently hit their headshots, and for most players will either be a hit or miss gun compared to something like the M4, which is arguably way more consistent as a weapon. In the end, if you're looking for something similar to the AK-47, or if you like to play closer range angles, I would definitely recommend that you give the G3 a fair chance. If there were any stats that you didn't see covered that you'd like to see, please let me know in the comments below. Also, let me know what weapon you want to see next. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you learned something useful from this video. If you did and you liked the video, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to keep up to date with when I upload. Be sure to also check out my social links in the description below. Thank you again so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Take it easy.